Good morning, everybody out there. Thank you for stopping by. Thank you for joining me for part 2 of this video on your third eye and the pineal gland, the connection thereof, and chrono medicine, which is the dysfunction of the pineal gland. On the last video, part 1, which you can go into my channel and look for pineal gland part 1 and watch all the dysfunctions that can happen with the pineal gland, or I'm sorry, what can be caused by the dysfunction of the pineal gland within your body. So chrono medicine is the medical term used to describe any dysfunction or dis-ease of the pineal gland. So the pineal gland for centuries has been referred to as the seat of the soul, or as like a direct connection to our third eye, or is referred to as our third eye. Guys, what I have to tell you today is so crazy. Like people have known about this for a long time. Okay, I don't know if anybody else is, has a YouTube like this, but anyways, years ago, I learned about tap water and how it wasn't good for my kids. And I'm just going to jump right in. Their Reiki principles and all that kind of stuff I'll post down below. But yeah, I found out that fluoride was in our tap water besides chlorine, bleach, and all that kind of stuff. And I said, this can't be good for you if it's a hormone disruptor. And then fluoride also, found to not be good for you as well. If all this is true, then why are we drinking this tap water? Why are we drinking it? Why are we drinking drugs that the water companies are not looking for? And I could go on and on and on about that, and I will. I could do a video on just that. But, okay, so what we realized on the last video was all the things that can go wrong, chrono medicine. On this video, I wanted to talk about how you can heal it, but I also wanted to retouch back on some of the issues that can happen with your pineal gland and what can cause it to get calcified. So the calcification of your pineal gland is when it's called apatite. So if you have ever been to like a rock quarry or anything like that, you'll hear that term, apatite. It's like crystallization, and the minerals and rocks and stuff like that you see at the mining gem places and stuff like that. Well, the apatite, that is also what happens. It's fluoride apatite, basically. It's little crystalline stuff. It's one of the most, I don't know if it's innervated, or it has blood supply second to only the kidneys in our body. Okay, it has tons of blood supply. So the pineal gland. Well, when something gets calcified, guess what? The blood flow is blocked through there. Also, the proper functioning of it. And the pineal gland is filled with pinealocytes, which produce melatonin. So in our bodies are completely effing amazing the way they work. Okay, so you have stages of hormones. So your body doesn't just produce testosterone. Okay, it has to go through stages before it produces testosterone. Well, the same with the melatonin. Your body has to go through stages before it eventually produces the melatonin that we need. So the pinealocytes are necessary for proper melatonin production. Well, whenever the pinealocytes lower down because they're not needed anymore because part of your pineal gland is calcified, guess what also lowers? That's going to be your melatonin levels. So that means your sleep-wake cycles are going to be effed up. That means you're not going to, it's an antioxidant and an auto-inflammatory, melatonin is. So when you have less of it, you have less of all those things as well. And so it's also known to go down when you're aging. They've done tests on people with Alzheimer's disease, and their pinealocyte production is 20% of that of a healthy person. So, wow, is that the key to Alzheimer's? I don't know, but I have a pretty good idea. So back in the 40s, sometimes somebody thought it was a great idea, and I have my conspiracy theories always going on in my head, but somebody thought this was an awesome idea, that if fluoride's good for your tooth enamel, then let's just put it in the drinking water. That way everybody gets it in their mouth. But I don't know about you, whenever I go get a glass of water, I don't swish it around in my mouth and then spit it out, okay? Well, if you read the back of your toothpaste box, which has fluoride in it, if your toothpaste has fluoride in it, go read it. In fact, go pause the video and go grab your box of toothpaste. It says use a pea-sized portion, and actually that's generous. A pea-sized portion or smaller. Do not swallow, because if you swallow, it can be toxic. But here we are in our government water source, okay, getting fluoride going right on into our body and calcifying in parts of our body that are highly, that have high blood flow. and that's going to be your pineal gland is going to be one of the first to calcify. Okay, so the soft tissues is where it likes to calcify at. Also it can calcify in other places, but anyway, right now I'm just talking about the pineal gland. So that's going to mess up everything. So we have this fluoride in our water, okay, that's toxic, and we are speeding up that process. Now, I also believe, and I mentioned this in the last video, that when a mom is pregnant with a fetus, okay, and she's drinking tap water, she is already that child is going to come out with a partially crystallized, if not fully crystallized. I mean, I don't know, you know, that how many fetuses have been checked or how many babies have been checked once they're born. I don't know for that, but I do know that it's been studied now. It's being studied that this is affecting even the fetus prior to birth. So I don't know if that's tied in with, like, I mentioned in the last video of everybody needing Vyvanse now, people not being able to think clearly, people not being able to meditate, not being able to block out, just have a blank moment, you know, enough to meditate. Meditation is also helped by melatonin production, closing your eye, you know, sitting still, not and thinking. If your mind is racing, it's hard to think. And they believe now that it can cause learning disabilities in children and adults. So I don't know. There's a huge connection there, people. So this video, what I'm going to talk about for this video is how to decalcify that very important organ in our body so that our third eye chakra can actually be opened, okay? I'm going to read you a little article from Harvard Magazine, which I found online. I'm going to put all the links. I cite everything in my articles. I don't just, everything medical that anybody ever mentions, they really should be citing it in their description box, so I'm definitely doing that. Okay, so perhaps this is what someone from Harvard Medicine said. I should have actually put the name of the person that wrote the article, but I'm going to cite it below. Perhaps most worrisome is preliminary research in laboratory animals suggesting that high levels of fluoride may be toxic to brain and nerve cells. And human studies have identified possible links to learning, memory, cognitive deficits, though most of these studies have focused on populations with fluoride exposures higher than those typically provided by U.S. water supplies. It doesn't matter, guys. If our moms are drinking it when they're pregnant with us, we're coming out and we're drinking it and drinking it and drinking it, and everybody says, ooh, drink a lot of water, drink a lot of water, drink a lot of water. Folks, I don't know. Okay, so back in the 90s, let's see, I feel grateful that I feel grateful that I began reading about this when my kids were little. And me and my kids, I was very eccentric, I guess you could say. And I used to cook green beans or food, whatever I cooked for me and my husband, I would also grind up in a blender and put in ice cube trays and pop them out and put them in Ziploc bags. And my kids didn't eat Gerber baby food. They did sometimes, like the applesauce or stuff that I didn't feel like making, but they ate like what we ate. Okay, so I was also eccentric of the fact that I homeschooled back then. Not a big advocate of it, but you know, whatever. You know, it's whatever works for your family. You know, but we also went. Me and my kids had so much fun, like going and searching for natural springs that we could fill up our gallon jugs with. So I would take these glass gallon jugs, of course they were glass, and I would take them out and we would go fill up gallon jugs in various places wherever we lived. We did that in the 90s, and we did that all the way up until, I don't know, probably about maybe, I don't know, 7 or 8 years ago. And I've always bought either distilled or reverse osmosis water. And then years and years ago, probably about 7 years ago, I installed a reverse osmosis filter under our kitchen sink so that the water that we go to drink is reverse osmosis water. Now, if you do, I would not recommend distilled water, because distilled water is more for when you're doing a cleanse, a body cleanse, something like that, when you want to have nothing in there except flushing out toxins and things like that when you're cleansing. If you use distilled water, because maybe that's all you can get where you are, you need to make sure you add back those vital minerals to the water, okay? Because there's minerals that we get from our spring water, stuff like that we really need to help our body function properly, stuff that our body doesn't naturally make or synthesize. Okay, so, okay, back to the damage done by toxins. Let's see. I was going to say, and I don't know if I already said this or not. I think I said this, but Alzheimer's yeah, yes, I did. I talked about that already. Okay, so here's some foods we can implement to clean and decalcify our brainstem, and some of these items are good for our health, so you'd be doubling up on the benefits. Well, decalcify the brainstem, what I meant by that was where melatonin is produced in the pineal gland near the brainstem. So, diencephalon. Anyway, melatonin. So, melatonin. That's something that you can get over the counter. 5 milligrams a day is what is recommended. I will put a link down below for one that's a good one. Not sure about the ones they have at, like, you know, the big box stores and stuff like that. I don't know. But anyway, you could check that out as well. But that's number 1, melatonin. Number 2, oregano oil. Now, the one I used to give my kids, because like I said, I used to order from a co-op and buy meat from a farmer, you know, and everything like that. We used to do all that stuff. And I need to get back to that again now that I'm by myself. Well, I mean, I have 2 kids still living at home, but life has been crazy, and I'm in school full time. I've been in school since 2015. But anyways, oregano oil and neem extract. Now, I used to give my kids neem to brush their teeth with, baking soda, neem, peroxide, things like that. And then also oregano oil, I use the brand called Oreganol. So if you want to look that up. Okay, also another thing, number 3, is raw cacao, which is the really bitter chocolate. It's the one that's unsweetened, or mostly unsweetened. You can make, you know, hot chocolate with it. You could actually make a chocolate smoothie for in the morning with some berries and cacao, and then add a little bit of agave or something like that just to sweeten it up, or a banana even. So raw cacao, that's very, very good for your melatonin production, or for decalcifying your pineal gland. Chlorophyll-rich foods such as chlorella, blue-green algae, and wheatgrass. You don't need much of these to pack a punch. They're all very, very powerful antioxidants for your body. So because they're antioxidants, they're going to go through there and they're going to clear out that crystallization that's happened from those fluoride deposits. All right, raw apple cider vinegar. The Bragg's brand is the one I've used for years and years. I'm excited about, you know, telling you about that. Apple cider vinegar can heal and cure so many things. You need to read up on that, and definitely implement this into your diet if you're trying to decalcify that third eye, okay? Number 6, iodine. Many of us like to use like the Himalayan or the sea salts and stuff like that, but you got to be careful because they may not be iodized. Iodine is a very important mineral that is lacking in our that our body doesn't synthesize, that we have to take in externally. So you want to make sure you're getting enough iodine in your diet, because that can cause all kinds of other hormonal issues like thyroid problems and things like that. Organic blue ice skate fish oil and Activator X. Y'all, I'm not sure what that is. I'm getting this off of a website, which I'm also going to link down below so that you can read it for yourself. Fish oil. I'm assuming now they named blue ice skate fish oil. I'm assuming it's just like your, you know, fish oil, DHEA, stuff like that, or DHEA. But you know, just a good fish oil. Okay, basically, I think is what they're talking about, because that's a good cleanse and antioxidant type thing. Okay, and vitamins K1 and K2 it lists on here. So K2 I know is good for liver cleansing and things like that, to help that blood just flow through nice and clean. Boron or borax, which is naturally occurring in beets, dried beet powder you can get on Amazon, which I'm going to put a link for that below, and also dried plums. Let's see. I would also get this in supplemental form, not in a box, in the cleaning section of the grocery store. We've all seen borax in the cleaning section and stuff like that, and boric acid and stuff like that. So I'm not recommending that you go and get that and you feed it to your kids. I want you to do your own research. Guys, anything I say on here, do your own research. I'm not a doctor. Not yet. I'm working on that. But yeah, I am not. But even if I were, I'm not telling you what to do. Okay, you have your own doctor. I want you to make sure you're checking all this out, and you know, we're doing your own research, okay? All right, other things good for decalcifying and improving function to the pineal gland would be coconut oil, which I use all the time for oil pulling and stuff like that, but you'd be eating the coconut oil to help decalcify that pineal gland. Also, goji berries, which everybody's heard of those lately, especially they've gained a lot of popularity for high antioxidant qualities. Hemp seeds, seaweed, noni juice are a few more of the things you can do. And I'm going to put, like I said, a link to this article down below so you can go read it. and make notes of what, grocery list or whatever. I listed another website below called spiritualityhealth.com. Spirituality health, like third eye, getting it, all that stuff cleaned out. I make smoothies in the mornings, personally for me and my kids, out of kale, frozen berries, and I always put in my smoothies coconut oil, which I love how coconut gives it that delicious quality and quantity, or not quantity, but delicious consistency is what I was looking for. And I add turmeric to mine every morning, and coconut oil, and what else? I use almond milk or coconut milk, stuff like that. Okay, guys, I hope this helps you. I hope this helped you today, and I hope you can release that third eye from being blocked and calcified from all these years of maybe possibly drinking regular tap water. And guys, I would highly recommend you get a reverse osmosis filter for under your kitchen sink. They're less than $200. They used to be, at least, at Home Depot. And you can get somebody. Home Depot will actually come and install it for you for maybe another $100 if you don't, if you want to do it yourself. More power to you. But watch some YouTubes on how to do that and stop drinking that tap water, okay? So I don't know what our government is thinking about putting all that stuff in our tap water, okay? I mean, there's like all kinds of stuff in there that we should not be consuming, but okay, I'm sure they love us, okay? Okay. All right, you get me? You get me? All right. I love y'all. Have a great and blessed day. Bye.